Hey y'all, hope y'all doing well. We are back with the namesake of this channel, and that is the Retire with Less series. Happy New Year. This is January 26, 2023, and we're going to go over my thoughts. We're going to go over how much income we've gleaned off these portfolios. I had a comment, right? I must not be explaining this very well or what the intent of these videos are, because I got a comment that said something to the effect of selling puts is a waste of time. Well, we've been doing this series for about 2 years, and when we get to the end here, or we get to the January results, I'll share with you the waste of time. It might be my fault. Maybe I'm not explaining it correctly, but the intent of these videos is to help people that may not be able to get the millions of dollars that the experts say that you need to retire, right? So if you're not able to get there, you have to look for some alternative methods, right? Now, if you can get to millions of dollars, more power to you. That's great, right? But to say that this is a waste of time is kind of, I don't know. It's short-sighted, right? Because his comment was it's better to own equities and sell calls. That's kind of what we do here too. We're doing the wheel strategy basically. But if you just want to own equities and live off the dividends and a little bit of covered call income, you're going to probably need millions of dollars, at least $1 million, right? $1 million with a 3% yield is 30 grand a year. 4% yield, 40 grand a year. So you'll need that, right? If you're going to just own equities and collect dividends. So if you don't have that ability to get millions of dollars, you started late, you're old like me, right? Pushing 50 and barely started just a few years ago. You're going to need to look at some options. And that's pretty much what we're doing here. We're doing options. We're doing the wheel strategy, and we got to be a little aggressive. I'll admit it. If you got a smaller portfolio, say $250,000, which is a lot less than what the experts say you need, then you need to be creative. Maybe you need part-time jobs. Maybe you do some options. Maybe you'll do some side gigs. Maybe you got your own business. Maybe you're on Social Security. Maybe you're on SSI. Whatever it is, right? The point of the video is you can generate income with even a modest portfolio. Now, to me, $250,000 is a lot of freaking money, right? But to some, it's just, it's a drop in the bucket. So there's always going to be that push-pull issue, right? Because, some people over here don't understand how these people live, or these people here don't understand how those live. And that's just the way it goes. Right. A lot of these people that say they need millions of dollars to retire live in high cost of living areas, right? Or they have high paying jobs and they're used to living that lifestyle. The fact of the matter is the mass majority of Americans live a less than, six-figure lifestyle. And a lot of us live in lower cost of living areas. So there's always just that, difference. So that's the intent of this series, is to show you that you can generate a pretty significant amount of income on a smaller portfolio. Okay, so that's my rant, and let's get into it. So December, if you recall, we had owned SOXL. We got 3,000 shares of that. We still do. 400 shares of the NASDAQ, 2,000 shares of RYLD. Now there's two portfolios here. One is large cap, one is small cap. It's kind of interesting because I got a small cap ETF in here, but this is the large cap side, and the IWM side is the small cap side. Okay. Now, December ended with everything in this portfolio expiring. Okay. Now we'll go into puts and calls a little bit more in January, but everything expired worthless on this side. And then on the small cap side, the TNA ETF got called away. We had covered calls on it and it got called away. So this side of it ended up all in cash, and we'll go ahead and look at that now in January. So January on the large cap side, this month we did not sell any puts on this side. Okay. We already own 3,000 shares of SOXL at a cost basis of $50,000. We own 400 shares of QQQ, which is the NASDAQ, at a cost basis of $120,000. And we own 2,000 shares of RYLD. I put this in here just for just some, I don't want to say guaranteed, but just for some steady dividend paying income. Okay. So what did we do then if we didn't sell any puts on this side? Well, what we did is we sold all covered calls. Okay. So we went out to February 17th as the next expiration, kind of a short month. And we sold 4 covered call contracts at a $300 strike, which is our cost basis. Okay. Now what that did for us is we were able to collect $300 per contract. So what that means is at February 17th, if QQQ ends up at $300 or above at the close of business on February 17th, we will need to sell those shares at $300, but we will keep the $300 per contract that we received. Okay. Now, if it closes at $299.99, then we keep our shares and we keep the premium. But if it goes above, if it goes to 300 or above, we lose the shares at 300, but we keep the premium. Okay. Now SOXL, we have 3,000 shares of SOXL. That's the 3X leveraged semiconductor ETF. We went out and sold 30 call contracts, covered calls, with an expiration date of February 17th at our cost basis of, well, it's just above our cost basis at $17. And for each of those 30 contracts, we received $60 a piece. So we got a grand total of $1,800 from those covered calls. And again, February 17th, if SOXL is at 17 or above, we have to sell our 3,000 shares at $17, but we get to keep that $1,800 we already received. If SOXL is at $16.99 or below on February 17th, we get to keep our shares and we get to keep the premium we already received. Okay. And then RYLD paid us 19.6 cents for $392 in dividend income. So for start out the month of January, we received $3,392. Now remember, I have a requirement on these portfolios to receive $3,000 each and every month. And January, we got it. We had an excess of $392. So that went into our cash pile. Cash minus secured. This would be if we had a cash secured put, but we don't. So all we have is what we own plus some cash. So all in all, great month for this side of it. And we look at the equity value. I added this for this year, $201,516. Cash, we have $91,752, and total portfolio value, $293,268. Remember, these started out at $250,000, okay, 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, actually. So we've grown a little bit and we've taken out a significant amount of income. And we'll go over that total income for the past 2 years here after we get done with the small cap side. Now I was going to just 86 the small cap side. This side is all in cash at the moment because remember the TNA got called away. And so we're sitting on $203,368 in cash. Remember, this was in QILD for for a couple years. And that just deteriorated to the point where we weren't making enough money, and we went from $250,000 down to 203. So we 86'd or got rid of QILD, and we're trying to be a little bit more aggressive on this side and do small cap IWM and TNA. And TNA is the 3X leveraged Russell 2000 version of IWM. So what do we do on this side? Well, because I was going to get rid of it and just stick with the large cap, I decided I'm going to go a little bit more aggressive, and I'm just going to trade the TNA. Okay. So we did 15 cash secured put contracts on TNA with a strike price of $36. So on February 17th, if TNA closes at $36 or below, we would have to buy 15 contracts or 1,500 shares of TNA at $36. But we get to keep the premium, which we got $205 for each contract. So 15 times 205, we collected $3,075 in premium income. Now we need to put aside $54,000 in cash to secure these contracts in case it closes below $36. So for the month of January, we collected $3,075, $75 in excess. And so we got cash $203,368, cash minus secured $149,368. Okay. Now I do want to make a point here. Since both of these are really heavy in cash, what I'm not including, which is significant, is interest on this cash. Okay. So when you have a cash secured put, you'll collect interest on your total cash, not just the cash minus the secured. Your cash is still your cash, right? So, $200,000, let's look, I did it up here, $200,000 at a 3.8% savings interest rate right now is $631 in a month. So that's not insignificant. Now, I'm not going to calculate it here because I don't want to do the math of, okay, if this gets assigned, now it's $150,000, right? And what's going to be the payout on that? So I didn't want to do that, but just keep that in the back of your mind that right now on cash, on both sides, you are also getting a few hundred extra dollars per month. Okay. But that's neither here nor there. So, what I wanted to address again is the comment of this is a waste of time. Okay, now let's go over here and let's look at what a waste of time this has been for the past 2 years. So for the past 2 years, 2021, we received $34,364.09 in income. 2022, we brought it up to $36,317. So over $3,000 a month in income that we can pay our bills with, do what we please, and live our lives off of an initial $250,000 portfolio. Not only that, we're sitting on $91,000 in cash, cold hard cash. And I could, as a semi-retired person myself, I can't tell you how important it is to have a cash cushion, right? It lifts so much weight off your shoulders, to know that you have this big cash pile there in case something happens. So not only did we receive $3,392 in cash for this month, we're sitting on $91,000 in cash, we collected $36,000 last year in income. Big time. So $70,000 worth of income in the past 2 years. The portfolio has grown from 250,000 to 293,000, and it's really not a lot of work. To be totally frank with you, I look at these portfolios, these paper portfolios, once a month, and that is to make these videos. It's the only time I pay attention to them. So this income here, if you had $250,000, could be completed or could be had for about 10 minutes of work per month, tops. Okay. So think about that. 10 minutes a month, 120 minutes. That's 2 hours of work for the year. That's $18,000 an hour. Pretty darn good. I don't know about that being a waste of time or not, but to each their own, I suppose. Now this side, the small cap side, didn't do fare so well because of QILD. 34,000. It did good in 2021, and then it kind of just brought us down in 2022, and we'll see. I mean, still, you're still broken even basically, right? Because we're at 203, and you've collected, what is that, $63,000 of income over the past 2 years, but you've lost 47 grand or whatever it is. So we're trying to build that back up on this side, and I will continue to do so. I could have gotten a lot more aggressive and just sold double these, right? Because we have $203,000, and this only took $54,000 to collect that 3. But I don't know. I don't want to be, stupid aggressive either. So there you go. There's your waste of time. Large cap side, $70,000 over the past 2 years, a growing portfolio, and what can I say? If this wasn't a waste of time, please let me know. If you wouldn't mind, use that Amazon link. That helps me. It doesn't cost you any extra if you shop on Amazon anyway. If you use my link, they shoot me a couple pennies my way, and it just helps all around. So hope you guys enjoyed. Here's to a great 2023. You guys have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye. I am not a financial advisor. The information contained in this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be investment advice. Please seek a licensed professional for any investment, tax, or legal advice. Thank you.